So in this question, we've got a story about a boy and a trip that he took, and we've been asked to find the concept of how far east or how far south and what's the bearing. So the first thing you need to do for a question like this is actually draw the situation out, remembering that it's going to be based on trigonometry, so there's going to be right angled triangles involved here, and then the use of sine, cos, and tan equivalents. And make sure that you draw a diagram that really does represent what's happening and try and stay true to the angles. So we'll have the position here where the boy starts. I like to put in the little cross of saying where we're starting, so that you can make sense of it at a later point when you look back at it. Now, it says that the boy walks 2 kilometres on a true bearing of 90 degrees. Now, remember that true bearings are clockwise from north. So, if this is the north point here, clockwise 90 degrees is where the boy is walking. So, the boy is going to walk out this way and through a distance of 2 kilometres. Then the boy walks 3 kilometres on a true bearing of 130 degrees. So from where we are now, we can draw our new compass points, I guess, and then we're going to go on a bearing of 130 degrees true. So again, we start at north and we go 130 degrees true. So down this way. So this angle here is 130 degrees. Okay, and then we went 3 kilometers. So again, you can just see that my line is longer than the two. I'm not being accurate, but I need to know basically what it looks like to get a good view. Now, A asks how far east of the starting point is the boy? Well, the boy has gone 2 kilometers. And continuing on that east, the boy has also moved this amount. So I'm going to use an X for the amount of east. So the total east is going to be our 2 kilometers plus whatever X is. Now X exists in a right angle triangle. Now all we need to know is this angle in here, and then we have got the hypotenuse and an angle, and we can find this using sine. So the angle in here, remembering, was 130 degrees true from this point here. So the angle down here is going to be 180 minus 130. So the angle inside here is going to be 50 degrees. That's because the north-south line there is 180 and we had 130 degrees. So the angle inside our triangle is 50 degrees. The two of these add up to 180. So we've got our 2 and we're going to add on our x. Now x is within the sine, so we've got opposite over hypotenuse. So if we want to find x, we'll find it up here. We've got sine 50 is going to be equal to, the opposite over our hypotenuse. So x is going to be equal to 3 sine 50. Now it's asking us to correct to one decimal place. We don't know an exact triangle for this, so we can't actually find that anyway. So we'll use our calculator to get the actual value, which gives us 4.3 kilometers. So the total distance east is 4.3. Now the question also asks how far south of the starting point is the boy. So south is this distance here, because there was no south in the first part of the journey, so the total south is going to be this y value here. So the total south is equal to y. Y is in this triangle from cos, so if we got cos 50 degrees is going to be equal to adjacent over hypotenuse, so in this case the y over the 3, so y will be equal to 3 cos 50, and again we use our calculator and we end up with 1.9 kilometers. So now from that we know that The boy has travelled 4.3 kilometres east and 1.9 kilometres south. Now, what we want to know is we want to know what is the bearing of the boy from the starting point. So if you stayed at the starting point and the boy walked out, we want to know what is the bearing of the boy. So if you're here at the starting point and you're looking out at the boy, so you're looking out that way, what is that bearing? Where did that boy end up? Okay, so it's the bearing of the boy from the starting point. So you're at the starting point and you're looking out at the boy and you're asking yourself, where is this boy? So we actually want the true bearing, so that's clockwise from north, so we need that whole angle there. Now, we ask ourselves, well, how are we going to get that? Let's think about this. We actually have this whole triangle here. We know that the boy went 1.9 kilometres south in total and 4.3 kilometres over to the east. So we can actually work out what theta is using that. So we're thinking here tan theta, opposite over adjacent. We've got the 4.3 over 1.9. So theta will be tan minus 1, 4.3 over 1.9. So we use our calculator to find, and that comes out to 66.1 degrees. So just for the sake of this, to make it a little bit easier, we'll just round it off to 66 degrees. Now this is not a bearing. This is the angle within our right angled triangle here. The bearing is clockwise from north. So what we need to do is we need to find that true bearing, we need to do 180 minus the 66, because remembering that a true bearing is clockwise from north. This is north clockwise. We want the outside angle, not what theta is. So we need to do 180 minus 66, which is 114 degrees true. Remembering that we're giving it as a true bearing. And that's how you answer a question like that. Make sure that you always draw a decent diagram, otherwise you could end up with some optical illusions and miss the kind of little trick to the question.